Why did a cartoon about a talking train land me in family court? There I was, fighting to keep a straight face while a lawyer played a recording of my 5-year-old shouting, "All aboard!" at full volume as evidence that I'd damaged his development. A few years back, my son struggled hard with learning. He couldn't sit still, couldn't focus, melted down during every reading lesson. I felt like I was losing my mind trying to get him to grasp basic letters. Then one afternoon I caught him reciting an entire counting song from his favorite show about a fleet of cartoon trains, remembering every number in order perfectly. So we ran with it. We made up little train chants for each letter of the alphabet. He picked up sounds he'd never retained before. He learned punctuation from an episode where one train kept stopping abruptly. That was a period. And another that raced ahead breathlessly. An exclamation point. When I turned math problems into train cars, if the red engine pulls 4 cars, drops 2 at the station, and picks up 3 more, he aced every practice sheet. The show gave his brain a framework that made sense where the normal methods just bounced off him. But when my in-laws visited, they were horrified. Instead of playing with the building set they'd brought, my son lined up his shoes like a train and drove them around the living room making whistle noises for an hour. They decided on the spot that I'd been neglecting him, depriving him of a real education and proper toys. They spent the whole weekend documenting math homework where he drew train cars to solve addition, reading practice using printed pictures from the show, the way he'd cry "wrong track" when he made a mistake. This is neglect, they told me. After they left, they hired a child psychologist and a lawyer to build a case for custody. They presented it like a murder trial. They played clips of my son chuffing like an engine down the hallway. They showed video of him telling my father-in-law he was running on the wrong timetable when he showed up late. When my son answered the phone with, "This is the station, who's departing?" my mother-in-law cried on the stand about her grandson's brain turning to mush. They demanded emergency custody to fix him with proper educational programming. It took everything I had to sit quietly through the most ridiculous custody case imaginable. When my turn came, I pulled out his actual schoolwork, his reading assessment showing he'd jumped 3 levels after we made train-themed flashcards, a math test with a perfect score, every problem visualized as little engines. His teacher's note, "Best transportation presentation I've ever seen from this age group." He explained how a whole rail system works, truly gifted. And messages from my in-laws themselves, asking me for those visual learning tricks for their other grandkids. The best piece was his behavior chart. He'd befriended a shy kid who never spoke, telling him every morning that every train moves at its own speed, and that's okay. The principal had emailed me, unprompted, to say my son was the kindest 5-year-old he'd encountered. The mediator reviewed it all and started chuckling. She turned to my son. "If you can solve this, your mom's free to go. The blue engine has 6 crates. It delivers 2 at one station and 1 at the next. Then it picks up 3 more. How many crates does it have now?" My son grabbed the lawyer's pen, drew the whole route across the page, stations and all, and held it up grinning. 6, but he should share some because trains that share get to the station happier. The mediator laughed and looked kindly at my in-laws. "It appears you have nothing to worry about. Your grandson is reading 3 grades above level, and even the specialist you hired noted his empathy is remarkable." Their faces fell. Then my son walked over and hugged them. "It's okay if you don't like my trains, Grandma. Some engines don't like the same tracks, but they still help each other." My mother-in-law just started crying. The mediator dismissed the case. "This child has clearly found his own way of learning. It may look unusual, but there's no neglect here." Dismissed. As we packed up to leave, my son ran over and took my father-in-law's hand and asked if he wanted to watch the episode where the trains race in the snow. The old man hesitated, then smiled. Maybe just one won't hurt. The best part was watching that same lawyer who'd spent an hour arguing cartoons rotted children's minds quietly ask me on his way out what the show was called, because his own kid was having trouble with phonics.